What's up guys, it's Looper here. Today we're going to be going through what I believe are going to be some of the most impactful cards that are going to be in this new draft arena mode coming to Gwent. So if you haven't heard, CD Projekt Red have announced and released a live stream showing this new mode that's coming. It might seem kind of familiar to some of you guys because it's meant to be very similar to the arena mode in Hearthstone. However, I've not actually played Hearthstone myself, so it's not really going to be too repetitive for me, so I'm completely fine with it. It is receiving some sort of criticism over the fact it's very similar, but as I've said, I've not played it, so I'm just happy something new and fresh is coming to the game, and I'm hoping for CJ Projekt Red it's going to bring some old players back, and it's also going to bring in some new ones. So yeah. If you have not watched this live stream, go to the GWENT YouTube channel. I recommend you watch it. It will just give you a lot more information, and you'll actually be able to see it in action. And that's going to be a much better description than whatever I can offer you. But I'll give it a try. So basically, the new draft arena mode. It's going to give you a number of cards on the screen. I believe it's 3 cards to pick from, and you pick one of these cards, and it goes into your deck. And you follow this way until you've got a full deck. It's pretty simple, pretty basic draft concept. One important thing to note is that it is not faction locked, so you can run cards from Monsters, Nilfgaard, Scoia'tael all in the same deck, which means that there's not going to be much synergy going around because each card's going to be pretty individual, and you're not really going to be able to pair them up with combos like you would in normal decks. So that's important to note. And then also, I do not believe there's a cap on golds. I think they're just going to appear more infrequently. So I think you can get more than 4, but don't quote me on that. Alright, so let's get right into this. So the first card that I believe is going to be very, very good in this upcoming arena is Shani, because it is obvious that Resurrects are so powerful. I mean, come on, look at Skellige. Without Resurrects, it would be terrible. Resurrects add such diversity to the game, and it allows you to get your core units back. And I'm not saying there are going to be core units in this arena mode, but there's always going to be silver that's very good to resurrect. Say if your hand's bad and you happen to draw into Giant Toad in the draft mode. That's even a Giant Toad with Shani. It's completely random. It's the first card that came to my head. That's already good. That's already good because not only is it going to be maybe a 12-point play, but it fixes your hand. And honestly, and I think that's going to be so crucial in draft mode, fixing your hand, because a lot of the time you're going to have bad cards. You're going to have cards that have no synergy and just don't really fit in at all. So I think being able to fix your hand, especially with Giant Toad, which will discard it, being able to Shani and stuff like that is going to be so important. And as well, Hattori, the reason why Hattori is not going to be good is because he only works on Scoia'tael units. Shani is not faction locked whatsoever, so you can use it on any card. You can use it on any bronze or silver card as long as it's not cursed. So for that reason, Shani's going in because the resurrect feature is so powerful, and the fact you're going to be able to use it on all faction cards, it will make it absolutely ridiculous. So the second card I was actually going to put into this was Coral. However, I decided to not put Coral in, and I'll just tell you why really quick. So I was going to put Coral in because artifact compression is always a good card really. Being able to completely banish a card from the game, as I've said in previous videos, it's always great. It's very rarely going to be dead. However, the fact that a lot of engine cards are not going to be appearing because synergy is not going to be as predominant, I don't think it's going to be that great, because you're going to have to rely on your opponent having really high point units for this to be good. Now obviously high point units often come from synergy, Neckers only come from the fact there's Van Warriors, so I don't even think there's going to be that many high point units knocking around, honestly. And for that reason, I'm not actually going to put it in this list. I just wanted to give it a little bit of an honourable mention, because I think it still will be good, just not one of the best. Alright, so next is going to be the gold weathers, which are right here. Now, if you've not watched Merchant's video, he's done a video on this, and he detailed how these are going to be so good, because gold weather is very it's kind of up and down, right? It has phases where it's really good, and then everyone will run it, and then everyone will start running counters to it, and therefore no one will run it because everyone's running counters to it. But the fact is, people aren't going to be able to tech their decks to avoid this gold weather. So if you're running it, the likelihood is they're not really going to have counters unless they get lucky. But think about this, right? So you have a Clear Skies, you have an Algiers Thunder, and then you have something like a Mahakam Ale or something. Obviously, you're really not going to be picking the Clear Skies, are you? Because it's just gonna. Because if that Clear Skies is dead that game, that's a 0-point card, literally. And like, so you're obviously going to want to pick the more reliable cards in the Mahakam Ale or the Algiers Thunder, because Algiers Thunder is great removal and the Ale is great just for 12 points. So people are not going to be picking Clear Skies is the point I'm trying to put across here, because it's risky. Like, it could be a 0-point play, literally, or it can be like just draw a next bronze card, which is not good at all. So for that reason, I don't think people are going to be picking Clear Skies. And also, when you put the majors like Gremist or Ida Amin like next to other great silvers in the draft mode, you're probably not going to be picking those for the draft. You're probably going to be picking the other silvers over those majors. So honestly, I think Gold Weather could be great, because I think people A, are just not going to want to pick the counters because there's going to be better alternative cards for them to pick, and B, they might just not get the opportunity to get a counter because the draft mode might not give it to them. So the fact they're not going to be able to take their decks for weather means that these two, which used to be Drought but now it's Karathi Heatwave and Ragnarok, I think they're both going to be great cards. So yeah, all these cards, by the way, craft them for this arena mode. The arena costs 150 ore to enter, and if you lose 3 times, you get kicked out and you have to start again. And if you win 9 times, then you complete it. And the rewards are scaled on depending on how many wins you get. So, for example, if you get all 9 wins, I bet you'll get something really good. Or if you get like 3 wins, you might get something like mediocre, etc., etc. Alright, so now we're moving on to the last card I put in this. And this is just Aguara. Because Aguara is one of those cards that, although it is create and there's a bit of risk reward to it, I think it's so reliable. Like, honestly, the amount of times I use this card and I always find a card that fits into the play I'm about to make it's really astonishing. So this card, I believe it could be great because like, it's not reliant on anything else. Like, you don't have to have any spells in your deck like Ithlin. You don't have to have any other cards like Shoop or Nova to make it work. Like, you don't have to take your deck to make it work. You just can play it, and chances are you're going to get a great card, and which is really going to aid you in winning the match. So yeah, that's Aguara. It's just a simple point I'm making, that this card is more often than not going to be great, and you don't have to tech your deck or anything, which obviously will be impossible in draft mode anyway. So yeah, I would recommend to put this in your decks if it comes up. And then the very, very final card is going to be Shoop's Day Off, wherever he is. Here he is. Now this one's interesting, right? Because if you read his ability, it says, if your starting deck has no duplicates, send Shoop on an adventure, right? So usually, for most just regular faction decks, this can be quite difficult, because it's only really Scoia'tael that has enough power that can be generated from just single bronzes, right? So a lot of other decks could not run this, because like, it doesn't have enough bronzes that are good. However, now it is cross-faction, you can get like one good card from one faction, another good card from another faction, and you can just take, if you're lucky, you can get all the best single bronze units from each faction, and then put them all together, and then that will enable Shoop, as well as having a pretty strong deck, if you see what I mean. So previously, you might only be able to run Northern Realms, and you can only use the bronze cards from there, which running one of each is not going to be good. But now there's not really going to be much synergy anyway. This card could really take off. The only thing you're going to have to worry about is making sure that you do only pick one of each bronze unit or spell. So this could be interesting, because unless Shoop is one of the first cards you get in your draft, you're probably not going to be teching for him. So you're probably not going to be picking singular bronzes and no duplicates in the hope of getting Shoop later on, because that's just way too risky. So if you get him early on, I recommend, trying to tech your deck for him, because he's ridiculously powerful. And now you're going to be able to get a single bronze card from each faction you're going to be able to get pretty strong bronzes. And synergy's not going to be that important anyway. So I think Shoop could really shine in this arena mode. So yeah, that's it, guys. They are the cards. It was Shani, Shoop, a Guava True Form, and Gold Weathers with a little bit of coral. So yes, craft these cards, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me, honestly. And thank you guys for watching. See you next time.